UFC 320 is just a few days away. In this video, I'll be giving you guys a full card breakdown with my predictions, lock of the week, and a solid underdog to win you guys some money. And before we get into that, UFC Perth was amazing. We went 9 for 12 on that card, and we made a whole lot of money. So without further ado, let's get into the first fight of the night. We got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. See, last card, they gave us Alexia Thainara versus Luma Lookboom. That's a good way to open up the card. But yeah, I guess we'll get into this. Veronica Hardy, negative 700. Give me Veronica Hardy to win by decision. Brogan Walker hasn't won a fight in over 2 years. I have no interest in this fight. And then we got an absolute dogfight. And I think I have the recipe for this matchup. We have Austin Vanderford coming off his UFC debut win against Nikolai Vedekanov. And he got a second-round ground and pound knockout. And he's looking to take you to the ground. And if he takes you to the ground, he's either looking for control, looking for damage. He hasn't had a sub since 2019, so I don't think that's going to play a factor in this fight. You feel what I'm saying? And he's facing Ramis Brahimaj. This kid is a fucking savage. He hunts submissions. I'm talking about hunt submissions. His UFC debut didn't go too well. His ear damn near fell off, so the doctor had to call the fight. But besides that, he's never been finished, never been subbed, and he has 10 first-round submissions, 11 in total. And I feel like in this fight, also, he came off an upset victory against Billy Goff in the first round. On a 2-fight win streak, got his first KO against Mickey Gall. Kid's a savage. In this fight, if Austin's looking to take him down, but he has no submission threats, I just don't see how that's going to work. Give me Ramis as the better finisher in this fight, more durable, all that. And then we got Nikolai Veretennikov versus Punahele Soriano. I'll be going with Punahele Soriano. I think he's fought a much better level of competition. He's going to have a major power advantage on the feet here. Yes, he can get taken down. That's the only downside of this fight. But Nikolai, he's one fight away from being 0-3 in the UFC. A lot of people thought he lost to Francisco Prado. And I think Soriano's going to get him. I think he's going to put his lights out here. And then we got what should be a grappler's delight, Patchy Mix versus Jacob Wicklax. Patchy Mix, he looked awful in his UFC debut against Mario Batista. He looked very stiff on the feet, and Mario Batista schooled him. He showed that there is levels to the UFC ranking. But luckily for him, in this fight, the UFC is giving him kind of a favorable matchup because Mario, he won that fight off of just moving, sticking and moving, you know what I mean? Jacob, his only path to victory is the grappling. He has 0 knockouts. He has 10 submission wins. So it's kind of like he has no choice but to grapple with Patchy Mix. And Patchy Mix has no choice but to grapple with Jacob. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at Jacob. He throws a lot of teeps up the middle. He's faced the same guy 5 times in his career, this Sebastian guy. He has 3 wins over him, 1 draw, and he got a KO loss in 2020. That was the last time he got KO'd. And I just don't see him winning a grappling match against Patchy Mix. One last thing I wanted to add about this fight is, if you're looking at Jacob and you're fighting the same guy 5 times in your career, that makes me question where your level of competition is, where your ceiling is. Because in the UFC, you got to get better. You got to improve. Every fight is going to get harder. If you're fighting the same guy 5 times in your career, that makes me question where your level of competition even is. I think Patchy Mix might school this kid, but I'm going to go with a decision win for Patchy Mix. And then we got Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. I'll be going Macy to win this fight by decision. I think Yana can control the first round, though. She was honestly doing a really good job against Holly Holm when I look back at that fight up until the last 30 seconds of the first round. But I think Macy's going to have a nice little reach advantage here, and she's going to be the better striker on the feet. And then we got arguably the best underdog on the whole card, Yuju Sang versus Daniel Santos. Yuju Sang is coming off his UFC debut win. It was a first-round knockout against that guy, Jekka. I know Jekka's ass anyways, but Yuju Sang, it did exactly what you're supposed to do when you know there's levels in between you and your opponent. You knock his ass the fuck out in the first round. And Daniel Santos, he does not have the best top control. If this fight stays standing, Yuju Sang is going to beat this guy's ass. Daniel Santos is going to have to shoot takedowns if he wants to survive this fight. Yuju Sang probably has some of the most lethal striking I've seen on tape in a hot minute. I'm not going to lie. His spinning body kick is lethal. His hands are lethal. His distance management is lethal. The only thing I don't like about this guy is that he keeps his hands very, very, very low when he's circling out of pressure. But besides that, and his grappling is kind of untested. But he seems to get back up to his feet very well in most fights. And that's why I'm picking him in this fight. Because if he can keep this shit standing, he's definitely going to win this fight. Give me Yuju Sang. And then we got Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. Farid Basharat is the better Basharat out of the brothers, if you're wondering. And in this matchup, he's going to have a grappling advantage. I think Chris Gutierrez will be slightly better on the feet if there's distance. But I don't think Farid Basharat is going to give him a lot of distance. I think he's going to try to control this guy against the cage, take him down, top control, etc. And Chris Gutierrez has some very devastating leg kicks, though. But I don't think that's enough to beat Farid Basharat and give him his first L. Give me Farid by decision. And then we got Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. I'm going to be picking Edmund. We got to remember, this kid's only 27 years old. And most of the fights that he's losing, he looks really good in. He was beating the shit out of Gerald Meerschaert, having his way in that fight. And then ultimately got fucking subbed. If it's not for that, he's on a 4-fight win streak. And then his last loss is Anthony Hernandez. So I really like Edmund in this fight. And then we got Joe Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. I'm going to take Joe Pyfer to win this fight by knockout. Not only is he the better striker on the feet, he has the better gas tank. And I see Abus Magomedov going to a decision with Michel Pereira. And seeing how that guy looks lately, that's just a terrible look, man. That's a terrible look. And then there's rumors that Joe Pyfer was quote-unquote scared to take this fight. And I don't think Joe Pyfer likes that. He's already an angry guy as it is. So I think he's going to put the pressure, and then Abus isn't going to be able to just wrestle Joe Pyfer if he gets in trouble like he did with all these other guys. You're not going to be able to do that with Joe Pyfer. You're probably going to get knocked out in this fight. Give me Joe Pyfer by round 2 knockout. Round 2 knockout. And yeah. And then we got Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. I'll be taking Yusuf Zalal to win this fight by decision. He's going to have to respect the power coming his way. And if all these other guys couldn't finish Josh Emmett, I don't think Yusuf Zalal is going to be the one to finish him. I understand Josh Emmett's 40 years old, but he still packs a punch. And like I said, his chin's still there. He hasn't taken any damage. Well, he's taken damage, but he hasn't taken the damage like a lot of these older guys have. So give me Yusuf Zalal by decision. And then we got my lock of the week, Yuri Prochazka. I think he's going to have this way in this matchup. Like, I just feel like Khalil Roundtree, with all the bruises and the scar above his nose, by the end of the first round, he's going to be battered. Whenever you fight Yuri Prochazka, you see everyone's coming out bloodied. Everyone's coming out bruised. And I think there's only a matter of time where his face is going to be too bloody. I think Yuri Prochazka is just too much for a guy like Khalil Roundtree. Yeah, Khalil Roundtree got some good leg kicks and stuff, but Prochazka's seen that with Ratchik and Alex Pereira already. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's anything he hasn't seen. Give me Yuri Prochazka by knockout here. And then we got the co-main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Merab Dvalishvili. Corey Sandhagen is currently sitting at a plus 310, and I feel like this fight is a lot closer than the odds indicate. I feel like Corey Sandhagen, he has his best chances to win this fight in the earlier rounds. And even if he doesn't win the fight in the earlier rounds, if he can hurt Merab early in the fight, that'll be his best chance on winning. But if he lets Merab skate around in the first and second round, you know what I mean? And all right, now here comes Merab, third round, pushing the pace. It's going to be the same bullshit we've seen. But in my opinion, how long can someone go fighting these snipers without getting caught? I think Corey Sandhagen is very crafty, and he does have a ground game. He's not going to just get bullied like Sean O'Malley did. And we saw Sean O'Malley denying some takedowns, but he just wasn't making Merab pay for the failed takedown attempts. I think Corey Sandhagen is scrappier than Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley is a better striker, but I think Corey Sandhagen is scrappier, if that makes sense. And I think Corey's going to hurt Merab, man. I just can't go away from my feeling in this fight. I have a strong feeling that Corey Sandhagen's going to get it done. Then we got the main event, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev in a rematch for gold. We got the blueprint in front of us from the first time they faced. And honestly, as much as I want Alex Pereira to win, I think Ankalaev is just a better mixed martial artist. He's going to have the wrestling in his back pocket just in case anything gets dicey on the feet. And last fight, he's the one that hurt Alex Pereira. So here are my bets for this card, and let's win some fucking money. Good luck, UFC community.